Previously on A Cubic Inch of Sound. We all voted on watching I Party with Victorious. Oh, no, wait, actually, sorry. Oh, no, not that one. The Promised Neverland Season 1. Kyle suggested this one. It's a psychological thriller about children trying to escape an orphanage. We talked about wanting to review this, and now we're reviewing The Promised Neverland. This is A Cubic Inch of Sound, and over the past week, we all watched Season 1 of the anime The Promised Neverland. My name is Luke, and I wear a hat now.
I'm Kevin, and I watched it dubbed, and people are going to make fun of me for that.
I'm Kyle, and I got rejected last week.
Epic. Glad we could all have some fun facts to share, to talk about. So this anime, this was something else, right? Kyle, you want to introduce us? You want to start us off?
Yeah, it's I can't really say anything about. So it's the basic premise, without any spoilers, is children living in an orphanage desperately suddenly want to get out of the orphanage, and that is all we know. We can
spoil the first episode. I mean, we're gonna spoil it as we go, I think. The synopsis with the first episode is a bunch of really intelligent children find out that they're actually being held in a farm to be consumed later in life, and they want to leave. Understandably so. Did you know PETA endorsed this anime? What?
No,
that's
PETA,
ridiculous.
PETA straight up put out on their Twitter one time. It was just like, yeah, Promised Neverland is good because this is what actual animals go through.
With the difference being that the kids in this anime are ridiculously smart, but we'll get to that later.
Only 3 of them.
No, a lot of them were pretty smart.
Yeah,
most of them are just like normal intelligence, whereas you got like super intelligence.
Well, it's implied that Gracefield Farm consistently puts out high quality products, so all of them are really smart.
Well, I didn't see it.
Well,
I saw it. Anyway,
dude, Phil's a Chad. You didn't like Phil, Big Eyes kid?
All right, Phil was a Chad. I will agree with that. We'll get to it.
Wait! I just want to see if I wrote something. I put. Oh no, I didn't put that. Never mind.
You can still say it.
I put Phil is a hero.
He is.
I'm glad we can all agree that Phil was pretty cool. How old was Phil supposed to be? Was he like 4? Maybe?
It was 4. It was 4. It was implied. No, not implied. It was strictly said kids don't get shipped out till they're 6. So since Phil's 4, they'd have 2 years. Because he was.
I think I have never met a 4-year-old that is as cool as Phil was.
Absolutely.
He didn't die.
It's because you met me later on.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so
characters.
Pretty early on, yeah. Characters, plot. We're introduced to. Let's see. There's Emma. She's like probably the main character, right? Would she be considered the main character?
She's definitely the main character.
I have got something to say about Emma.
Okay.
I haven't said anything about her yet. I just said her name.
Okay. When I was watching the intro for the show, which by the way, it's kind of fire. I saw in the credits it was Shonen Jump magazine, and I'm like, this is Shonen Jump? What? Because Shonen Jump's like Naruto and stuff. And I'm like, how is this anything like Shonen Jump, like what they normally put out? And then I saw Emma, and I'm like, yup, Emma's definitely 100% a shonen protagonist, because she's got that, like, never giving up mentality, and never, like, leaving friends behind thing. And that's all bread and butter for shonen protags.
She's also a girl, breaking the mold out here.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, pretty progressive. She's just got that, like, insane optimism and sort of like naiveness, I guess. Not naiveness, that's not a word.
Yeah,
you get
what I'm
saying.
Naivety.
I do. One of my slight criticisms with it is that we're told that Emma, Ray, and Norman are all like the 3 highest scorers. They're all like super geniuses. We don't really get to see Emma do anything like crazy until the last few episodes.
Yeah.
For most of the series, Norman and Ray kind of treat her like the dunce. Until like those last couple episodes where we really see, okay, Emma kind of is like
No, that's like the whole thing
brain.
where they kind of underestimate her the entire show until the end, where Ray's like, bruh. But we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense because they sort of introduce her as like she's not as crazy planning and really manipulative as like especially Ray is.
She's not a sociopath.
Yeah, but she is very athletic.
Yeah, well, but the root of my criticism is just that for most of the show, it kind of they kind of do a tell don't show thing where we're told Emma's really smart. We don't really get to see it many times.
Well, they tell us that she's not as smart as the two of them, and then she kind of grows into like that role of being able to keep up and being a leader and being able to maybe kind of outsmart Ray too.
Oh, well, she's absolutely a leader. She's the best leader out of all three of them, easily. We see that the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying at the end. Well, they did a not show now, show later, where she's not really present sometimes because she's actually doing stuff in the background that isn't revealed until later on.
That's another thing I really like about the show. They set up a lot of things really early on that you get payoffs for later.
All right, let's explain the other characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, Emma is one of the more in-depth ones, so...
Yeah, but you were about to go off into something completely different.
Norman.
Yeah.
Norman is generic.
Norman's milquetoast.
I don't know what to say about him.
He's very milquetoast.
What I found really funny about Norman was he was only good at tag because of his strategy. And like, boy, do we see his strategies he's like god tier smart, bro. But they're always like, yeah, he's not like the most athletic or like the physically strongest. He's only good at strategy. He's like the brains of the group. But in like the opening, you see him just doing like flips over rocks and stuff, and it's like, what?
He's sort of like the middle ground between Emma and Ray, where he's very relaxed and he's the mediator, where he takes like Emma's optimism and Ray's just cold hard facts and tries to find a really good middle ground for both of them for most of the series.
He's the centrist? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he's the centrist.
Gross.
But we do find out later that he kind of wasn't taking much of what Ray was saying into effect just because, he was a little bit in love with Emma and wanted her to succeed more.
Yeah,
they're all
that was kind of cringe. Also, I do want to clarify, all of these characters are 11 years old. Or at least the ones we've talked about.
Yeah.
11 to...
And then Ray.
11 to 12.
The coolest guy.
Ray, I was going to say he's the most interesting. I don't know
Ray's
if he's
the
coolest.
he's not
edgy.
really like Sasuke. He's not obsessed with revenge. Actually, he's the most interesting when you actually like think about the characters, but just like watching them, I thought Emma was probably the coolest.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Emma was fun, she did things.
Ray and Norman have a lot of depth to them. I don't know if you see a lot of Norman's depth through the season. I know that when I read it, he's definitely a lot more interesting of a character when you read it. But
yeah,
Ray has a ton of depth to his character. There's a lot of stuff going on with Ray that's revealed throughout the whole series, and I really like that.
Yeah, they kind of kept it going. There's like a halfway plot twist, or like not even halfway, and then there's like a near the very end plot twist as well. There's plot twists all the way down when it comes to
There's a lot of plot twists. It's one of those shows that if it were being reviewed by a half-bit critic, they would say, twists and turns to keep you engaged till the very end.
Yeah, they probably would say that. Would you?
No.
Oh, well, thank God. That means that we're good critics then.
Yeah. But no, okay. I do have to. I probably should save it till later, but because we're just bringing up Ray now, I really want to talk about it. In just about like one of the last scenes that Ray is in, where he's doing his big like protest thing where he's gonna give everyone a chance to escape. An absolute banger of a song plays. called Ray's Retaliation, which has some of the best saxophone. Like, it's so good.
You know, Kyle,
Ray
Some
gets
of
a
the
lot
best saxophones.
Kyle, I have a question. Why do they have
Yeah.
to escape? Because we haven't talked about that yet.
Oh, well,
Well, we
they,
kind of talked about
the
that
first
part.
episode, Emma and Norman are hanging around, just, being bros. And one of their other friends, Connie, who was being shipped out that day because it's an orphanage, so she was getting adopted, left her poor bunny behind. So they're like, oh, well, we got to give it to her. This is a happy little wonderland, so we got to go bring her bunny back to her. So they go under the gate, which is against the rules. They see a big truck, and they're investigating because they're curious little kids, and they open the back of the truck, and there's Connie, dead, and
Uh-oh.
they have a pretty appropriate reaction for like younger children, which is a really, really, really scared one.
I think anybody should be scared by that.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary regardless.
Emma's crying, Norman's like hyperventilating, they're about to pass out until they hear somebody. They don't want to get caught, so they hide underneath the truck, and it turns out that demons are farming these children so that they can eat them, specifically their brains, when they turn 12. Well, some of the younger ones they eat sooner, but the
they're
high
they fail their tests.
high quality ones, yeah, the high quality ones they save till they're 12 because that's when the brain's the heaviest or something. Norman makes a really weird excuse. I don't think the 12-year-old thing is really that important. I think it's just kind of, they picked a number.
The demons want like nice and smart brains, that's why they make them take standardized tests the whole time.
Yeah. Well, so in the manga, it is explained that the demons are only intelligent because of eating humans. So the brain thing makes a bit more sense because of that, but they don't really explain that in the show, which is kind of appropriate because the characters don't really know that. But Sister Crone does say in the manga that the reason they eat the brains specifically is because the demons will lose their intelligence eventually if they don't consume intelligent creatures, kind of take on the attributes of what they eat. So that's why they want smart kids.
They also do a really interesting thing where when they show like a corpse, they put like a red rose in like through their heart or something.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was because the demons were killing them in a weird way, or if it was like a weird censorship thing, It almost is because like in some things they'll try to avoid showing blood directly, so I thought maybe it was like that. Maybe, they show like a flower kind of gaining a red color on their body, and then that shows blood without actually showing blood. But I don't know why they would need to censor that, I guess.
Well, it could be that just because it's being published in Shonen Jump, but they do explain what the flower is later on because it does have kind of slight significance. It's not really a spoiler. It's more of just, how when you're like hunting an actual animal, you have to drain the blood out of it quickly. The flower drains blood out. So
that makes sense.
Makes sense because like the corpses are like immediately just like completely like gray.
Yeah. So that's what that's for. It's like a little ritual thing in the demon world. It's not really that big of a spoiler, but they explain it in season 2.
The demon world.
Yeah, so then we find out that the mother of the orphanage is actually the one shipping them out and is completely aware of selling these children to the demons. And she's just cool with it.
I mean, it's revealed later on she's not entirely cool with it, but she kind of has to be to survive, so...
Yeah, the humans are pretty much... I mean, we only see 2 other humans. We see Mother Isabella, who is kind of just evil the whole time, except for near the very end we kind of see... We see a flashback from her perspective, and we see that she was a child who was raised with, like, in the farm. I don't know if it's the same farm, but, the same type of farm.
Yeah.
And you feel bad for her, because she was essentially given that option of either getting eaten or becoming the mother so that other kids could get eaten. And that's a pretty awful choice to have.
Yeah. Because apparently if you're really cool, then you get that option, but only if you're a girl.
Yeah, only women get that option. And again, another thing that they explain in the manga had a lot more time to explain things like this, but I don't know if they say it in the show. I think I remember them saying it, but Isabel does say at the end that she absolutely does love every one of the children in the
Yeah, she's
orphanage. That's not a lie. And it hurts her every time they go, but she vowed that she was going to survive longer than anyone else, which is a vow that we also see Sister Krona make. That she says she's going to survive longer than everybody else. How'd that turn out, Luke?
Not well.
Sister
Yeah.
Krona,
Is it Krone?
It's weird. Krona. They all work.
in the dub they said Krona, I think.
Huh? Because in the sub it sounded like they were saying Krone, but I also I don't know, dude. I was reading.
Sister C.
No, K.
It's actually a
Okay.
She's brought in is it in the second episode? Basically, she's brought in because they realized that somebody had witnessed the actual kid getting eaten, or not getting eaten, but getting shipped away. And so she's brought in as like extra help, and then sort of tries to help the kids throughout the show, kind of, because she's really working for her own gain. She wants to usurp the mother, basically, and then she dies.
Yeah, so Krona's plan basically is that if she can ensure that Emma, Ray, and Norman escape, like the high value children, but not any of the other children, then Isabella will get kind of whacked, and then Krona can take her place. Which doesn't really work out because the grandmother, who's the head mother, kind of tells her in her last scene that that was never going to happen. Like, no matter the outcome, Krone would never take Isabella's spot.
Well,
but she tried.
She said that was her goal, that she was going to help them escape, because then that would be. But we actually find out that her whole goal was that she wanted to get solid proof that people were trying to escape and that Isabella wasn't reporting it.
I feel like the way that I kind of saw it, and I wasn't positive, but it seemed to me like she wanted to do either. Like, she was willing to do whatever in order to just prove, like, oh, look at how Isabella isn't handling things well. But, like, if the kids escaped, she wasn't going to care, and she did give them legitimate information.
Yeah, she never lied to them. Also, side note, Krone is freakishly strong. Like, literally shatters trees.
Yeah, but also she's like so slow that children are outrunning her.
She's massive. She outran Emma, to be fair. Like, she was going easy on the kids. Krone was like
she was not outrunning Emma. Emma had 2 kids, like, carrying 2 of them, and still outran her, but had to like hide behind a tree to like catch her breath.
That's true. Look, Krone was like peak human condition, dude. She was insane.
Peak human condition.
It was like really freaky. Like, I swear they spent like half their animation budget just like making her as expressively creepy as possible.
Krone and Isabella's faces are really good.
No, everyone's faces are really, really good. Like the spooked solid faces for all the kids are just like, bruh.
There's
like the rings around their eyes, dude. It was crazy.
Oh, there's a scene in episode 2 that's like legitimately probably one of my favorite scenes in anime, where Isabella, like, Emma is looking at like this little tack cork board where all the art is, and she's staring at Connie's artwork, kind of reminiscing about like their life in the house and how, like, nice it was. And we cut to what's his name? The milquetoast guy, white hair kid, Norman, who's coming around the corner. And when we cut back to Emma, Isabella is staring daggers at her, and the music cue goes from like completely silent to a absolutely terrifying track as Isabella just starts interrogating Emma in a really intense scene. It's such a good like switch of tones that you're not expecting.
Yeah, I do think the art was really good throughout it.
Yeah. What I found really funny was, like, for all of the children, all of their mouths were like closer to their eyes than I feel like they should have been. It was just really funny to watch.
Some of the proportions were a little bit weird.
They have really big eyes. They have huge heads, really big eyes, and tiny mouths.
That's just anime. No. But there are a lot of kids with like really weird designs, like really, really tiny eyes, or like head-shaped eyes, like head-sized eyes. They're like insane.
Head-shaped eyes.
Shut up.
We mentioned the music like a little while ago, but also before that. I will say about the music, I thought that at times it was kind of too much. Like it just took too much away from the focus of the scene, because it was like really loud and like really doing a lot of things, And it's like, the music can be subtle. It can be a little subtler than this. It was fine. It was good music, but I don't know.
I disagree. I thought the music was like pretty solid all throughout. It didn't really overpower anything. But I watched different language, so
I agree. I think the music is phenomenally done. And again,
is good.
To have it's a really interesting artistic choice to have a kind of mystery thriller psychological anime that makes heavy use of a saxophone as one of its main motifs in its music is extremely interesting, and I really respected it. Also, rewatching the series, coming to realize that Isabella's lullaby shows up throughout the entire show.
Yeah.
As a leitmotif is really, really interesting.
You want to elaborate on that?
Oh yeah. So, in the final episode, when Isabella's kind of going back throughout her whole life, the first memory that the core memory, if you will, that we encounter is her with some kid from her childhood. I think his name was like Cecil or something. And he had a lute, because the kids get gifts on their birthdays, and he got a lute. And he was composing a song, and they were like, he was in love with Isabella, and he wrote it for her. And it made such an impact on her that she remembered it throughout her entire life. And we kind of get a hint a little early on, if you've seen the series, like that Ray. It's revealed early on, like midway through the show, that Ray has memories from when he was a baby. Like when he came out, he immediately started getting memories. So multiple times throughout the series, he's heard humming the song, which Isabella ends up like remembering a memory where she hears him singing the melody, and she's like, "Where did you hear that song?" And he's just kind of staring at her.
Doesn't he say after?
Yeah, Mom, why was I bored? Why did you bring me into this world, Mom?
Haven't we all asked that at one point or another?
Ray's a freak. Ray's kind of
and
weird.
these were the crazy plot twists with Ray, was that you don't find out until the very, very end that he is Isabella's son, which seems like it doesn't actually change much,
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool. It was a cool thing because
equally, except that he gets special treatment.
Yeah, and also Ray was spying for her the whole time, but it was weird because it was like a double agent.
Yeah, we find out fairly early on that he was giving her information the whole time, and he was giving her information about how Emma and Norman were trying to break out and stuff. And we also find out that he has been helping her spy on the kids since he was 5 years old, which is a ridiculous age to figure out that you were raised to feed demons, And
you know what?
Like,
big props to the guy. Didn't care much. Didn't really care.
I don't know. He seemed to care. I think he was just very composed.
Because he was a little bit prepared to die in the last episode.
Yeah, but he wanted to also help the other kids escape.
Yeah, that was his whole purpose.
Until Norman and Emma wanted to escape, he didn't care. He was ready to get shipped out when he was 12. He fully knew it, too.
No, he said he spent his entire life trying to get these two to escape.
Yeah, he was the one who set up them escaping. He set up them going to the gate and finding out the secret of the house instead of just telling them for some reason.
Well, but what I'm saying is that one of the things he also says is he never intended to become best friends with Emma and Norman, and if he hadn't, he probably would have just consigned himself to his fate. Like, if it weren't for Emma and Norman, if it weren't for Emma and Norman, he would not have cared about his fate, and he would have just kind of done it. But he cared about Emma and Norman. He didn't care about himself. He cared about Emma and Norman.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just saying, when I was 5 years old, I had to have Velcro shoes because I didn't know how to tie my shoes. And I think it's pretty impressive that this kid managed to do everything that he did.
Yeah, and also from the time that he was 5 years old, collecting electronic parts to make a stinking...
Not only
what was it? An EMT thing? Like like a focused EMP blast to disable the trackers? Like, come on.
And then they cut off their ears anyway.
Listen, if we're just gonna skip to that, like, the end part here, when he was ready to just, like, sacrifice himself, all right, his whole plan was, I'm gonna throw some oil everywhere, burn down this whole house, including myself, and then, like, he wanted to survive up until the last day before he shipped out, just to completely just, like, ruin everything that this house, like, was trying to do, just like as, like, the ultimate, like, screw you to all the demons, which is, like, so cool. But where did he get, like, 6 gallons of oil?
He had a bunch of just stuff to burn. I don't know why. Maybe it was for like lanterns or something. Because I think they had lanterns.
He had a deal with the mother where he could just, like, get stuff if he was, like, a good spy. Like, he could just get random stuff from the outside world. And I just want to imagine he's like, yeah, could I just have oil?
I have gasoline, please.
And he also said they had a bunch of Molotov cocktails, but they're never brought up and we don't see them.
Oh yeah, that's true. They didn't come.
I think. Wait, wasn't that? I think Norman. It was either Norman or Ray. He said that they could make them using kitchen supplies and cloths.
No, he said that he had them.
He had them.
Ray said that he had hid them in the forest and that they could use them to catch the forest on fire for, like, the final escape, and they didn't.
Well, they didn't need them. They kind of figured out their own stuff.
Yeah. It's just weird that they would bring that up if they didn't need them. You know, like plot wise.
Well, I guess it was just also to show that Ray was super prepared during doing his own plan. In the during the time that Emma was kind of being the shadow broker of information to all the kids.
Okay,
Emma and Norman's plan was, like, insane. It was like 2 months of Emma just, like, sitting under a tree, just, like, giving information to people acting sad.
It was insanely good, but also, like, insanely simple. Like, the big twist was just that they ended up telling all the kids, and all the kids were kind of just, like, believed them.
Oh yeah, Norman dies.
Oh yeah, that happens.
Does he though?
Does he? Well,
I'm still not sure.
Okay,
we don't.
So he's probably not dead. He's probably just gonna be like the new mom.
Yeah,
I'm gonna reveal that or something.
The first dad in history.
Might be
also the outfits that they have when they're getting shipped out, total drip. They've got like a nice, like, fedora hat, and they've got, like, a suit or something.
I'm pretty sure they're trilbies, actually.
Sorry,
Kevin, you're really gonna come out here and endorse the fedora in 2021?
It's 2040.
All right, good point.
Do they figure out that it's 2040? Oh yeah, I forget what year it is, but they figure out that it's at least 2015. That's one of them. They were like,
no. They know the actual, like, year because they have a calendar, but they know that there is human tech going back into 2015.
Yeah,
well, they established that their
calendars.
Calendar is wrong, though, because they have the book that was published that was supposed to be history, and it was in 2015, and they're like, okay, so it's at least after 2015 in the human world.
I don't think they told us that the calendar was wrong. I don't have any reason to believe that it was wrong.
Yeah, because Norman was like, why do I always try and call him Albert? Like, every time I try to talk about Norman, I'm always like, Albert, and it's Norman. Norman shocks all of them because he was like, I did the math, and it's actually X date. And they're like, whoa, what? In the library.
So what is that when they mention that it was like 2045 or something?
Yeah, I guess.
Because I think that's what they said. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
they've got
mean,
this mysterious helper outside the wall who wrote these books with Morse code like stamps.
William Minerva.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That
William
really
Afton.
didn't seem to change much.
Yeah, but
Uh,
it'll probably be important later. Like
it's
really
it's
important.
mostly just set
I'm
up
sure.
for later
But
episodes.
there's no season 2, so it
We
doesn't
didn't
matter.
watch season 2. There is well,
We-
season 2 is bad, but
We can't
We don't
really
know
complain about
that.
season 2 because we haven't seen it. But
I
we
have
will
some
Well, I
anyway.
can't
complaint
because I
about
have.
season 2, so I'm just gonna pass that along.
I have seen it, but I'm not here to review season 2. I'm here to review season 1. So
All right. So let's see here.
So what's
What else?
the escape like? What do they have to do to escape?
So there's
'Cause
a
that's
big
pretty
old
much what the
wall
whole
at
thing
the
is
edge
about.
of the forest, and they're like, we should make a rope. And I guess they have infinite towels or something because they made like 5 or 6 ropes. Like they hid them all over the place. All of them got burned down or ripped up or taken, and they scaled this huge wall. Well, it's not that huge. Like they could probably jump to it from like climbing a tree.
14 feet tall. It's pretty huge.
Yeah, but they climbed a wall. I mean, they climbed a tree. Also, they did not use the rope at all how I expected them to. Like,
I don't know.
they made this rope, and I'm like, oh, how are they gonna like attach it to the top to climb up? No, they tied it to a tree and then used like centrifugal force to like run up the wall. And it's like, what? How
It
does
was
that
pretty
work?
impressive though.
These are 11-year-old kids doing this, and I'm like, I can't even walk up 2 sets of stairs without being tired.
11-year-old geniuses, more like. Also, them using the sheets later on as a zip line's pretty clever too.
Yeah.
Because
But yeah, that's the thing. Because once they get up the wall and they're like, oh, we just have to get to the other side of this wall, right? That'll be so easy. They realize that there's a huge cliff right next to it, which looks pretty much endless, you know? It's ridiculously
Big.
large. It's big.
But they trained for it. They played a lot of tag, bro. A lot of tag.
It was a
I
ridiculous amount
remember,
of
what was
tag.
it? Sister Chrono. Crown, whatever. When in her final moments, she's like, I believe you can escape. You're really good at tag. And then she dies. It's like, you just be good at tag and then you can do anything.
Pretty much.
They played a lot of tag, and it honestly paid off so well for them.
I honestly, I don't know how. My one other thing that I have about this is I don't really know how they kind of skip over the fact that Isabella never suspected Emma a single time when she had her leg broken, because obviously they played up like, oh, she was dejected and everything, but she was really like mafia style in those kids' information, like sitting under a tree with her head down, like whispering into their ears. She didn't ever wonder about what was going on with that. Like, I get that Emma was friends with all the kids and everything, but
She
I
looked
don't
really
know.
sad. She had me convinced.
Yeah, and at that point, Norman had already been shipped out, and I'm sure Isabella was like, "Ha, that'll get her."
Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, that
Isabella
whole part
seems like
where
she was
Emma
a really,
looked
really
like,
smart character. So I don't know. It just seems weird that she would let her guard down so easily, but it's still very smart. The way that they did it was very intelligent.
dude, that whole Emma part where she looked sad and stuff, best part of the whole series. Because like I really like when you get these like hugely optimistic characters and then you just completely just like break away all shred
Yeah.
of hope. And that's like really satisfying to me. I don't know why. And then
Kevin, that's the most
afterwards, then you feel a
sociopathic
little
thing you've
sad
ever
afterwards.
said.
But then they're like, nah, it was all an act. And it's like, yo, Emma's a Giga Chad.
Yeah, the part where Emma was all sad and quiet and stuff was my favorite part because Emma finally shut up.
What?
That's
I'm
rude.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Emma was
kind of
the
annoying
best character in
sometimes.
the entire show.
She's pretty good. I like
And
Ray
if
though. Ray's
she
got a
wasn't
really good
annoying in
theme.
the dub.
Ray's got a really good theme song. I can't go against my boy Ray.
I really like generic shonen protagonist trope.
But what about Don and Gilda? I
I
mean,
was
they
about to
were
bring them
characters
up.
who
Yeah,
existed.
we haven't talked about any of the secondary characters.
Well, because they're like
cute.
completely irrelevant.
There's literally
Don-
nothing we can say about them.
Don and Gilda, you mean Tall Guy and Velma?
Basically, they almost screw up everything, and then they make a zipline.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
like a good scene halfway through, and then that's
Oh,
pretty much it.
He also decks almost all 3 of the main characters.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Dawn
yeah.
gets kind of mad at one point. Absolutely slogs Norman and Ray in their faces, and almost slogs Emma, but kind of holds himself back.
Yeah, because at some point, for some reason, the trio decide, like, oh, let's tell them half of the truth. We'll tell them that kids are getting kidnapped, but we won't tell them about the demons, and we won't tell them that they're definitely dead. So I'm sure everything will be fine, right?
In the
Uh-huh.
moment, it probably seemed like a good idea.
They also didn't know who they could trust at that point because they knew that at least one of those two was spying for Sister Krona, and they suspected that the other one was spying for the Isabella. But it turns out Dawn wasn't spying for anybody, I think, and Gilda was spying for Krona, but was feeding her misinformation after Emma and them told the truth.
Was she even spying at all?
I
thought she
thought
just,
that
like-
she just talked to her that one time.
Yeah, I thought that was it.
Well, she had a deal with Krona, and also they do establish that someone is spying because Krona did know. I forget what she knew, but she knew something about one of their plans. They established that she knew that somehow. So they're like, "There's got to be a spy." And then they're like, "We'll give one of them this information, the other one this information, and when something goes up missing, we'll find out who the spy is." And it turns out it was Gilda.
Well,
No.
it turns out it was Ray.
Yeah, no,
Turns out
Gilda
it was Ray.
Gilda didn't do anything.
Well, it turns out it was Ray, but then we find out Gilda was she made a deal with Krone. It's very This series is very complicated.
Maybe in the manga, but like in the anime, they didn't say that at all.
I mean,
She
they
just
didn't
got
say
called
it.
into the room and then said, "I don't know anything. Leave me alone."
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
I will say, Kyle, you described this as every episode was like a game of 5D chess. I don't know if it was 5 dimensions. I think it was maybe more like
Normal chess.
like 3D chess. Yeah, or
Yeah.
2D chess.
Also, it wasn't every episode. It was like everything was just kind of like, yeah, they're like pretty smart and they're like planning stuff, but then literally everything falls through because they like don't think about something until the very end where like everything just works.
Well, it's not that everything falls. So when I described it as that kind of chess thing, it's because they'll make a move and they'll try and do an escape thing, and then either Krona or Isabella will have a counter move. And it's sort of it does become a game almost in that sense where they'll take an action and they'll take a separate action, like an action against them, and they're trying to test the water. It's pretty easy to see it as that. I mean, like.
Honestly,
yeah, no, I got exactly what you mean. I just didn't think it was that many dimensions.
To me, it didn't feel like the adults were making any plays at all. They were just like doing things, and like it just kind of ruined their plans by accident.
Well, there were
Like she
they
shipped out
definitely did things
Krona because she knew that Krona was like trying to like kick her out of her job, but she didn't know that that was going to completely screw up like the trio's plan to like say, "Oh, she's trying to poison you."
there were some interesting things. Like one of the more interesting things that happens early on that makes me think that the author kind of thought everything out is when Isabella intentionally reveals the tracking devices to them as a way to kind of be like, hey, like I'm going to reveal this information to you, like to show you how helpless you are, sort of as an action against them. It does sort of inadvertently help them, even though they were already kind of on the trail of figuring out the tracking device thing.
You see, they said that she like made it clear, but like it wasn't that clear at all. She was like checking the watch.
It's because she knew that they would notice.
She made sure to do it while they were watching her.
I feel like that's
Like,
just a stretch, like to be
She could
honest.
have walked away. What do you mean it's a stretch? If
I
she
thought
didn't
it
want
was
them to
smart.
find out about the watch, she could have walked like into the field, then checked the watch. They wouldn't have known.
I think she was just checking the watch. Like I don't think she was trying to hide it, but like I don't think she knew that they would find out.
Maybe
She
that
wanted to
wasn't
know what
actually
time it
the
was.
tracker watch. That was just her normal watch, and she wanted to know what the time
Yeah.
was. Did you
She
consider
just wanted to
that?
know what time it was. She was curious.
Can we talk about Ray requesting items from Isabella like lamp oil, rope, bombs?
Yeah.
A camera also.
Not
Dude,
from
when
20
he gets that camera, he's so pleased. Like his face, it's like the first time you see him legit smile in the series. He's like
Well, he's
so.
got
I
some
would be
evil
pleased.
smiles.
It was a cool camera.
Bro, What's he gonna do? Take pictures in the 12 days up to when he's going home? Like
He did.
Yeah. You can take pictures during the 12 days. You know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, memories to hold forever when you know you're gonna be eaten in like a week.
You could give the pictures to somebody else. Which is
Well,
what
he
did,
wasn't planning on
basically.
getting eaten. He was going
He's
out in a
definitely
blaze of
not
glory.
planning on being alive.
But then again,
Dude,
who plans on being alive?
Dude, when he pours the oil all over himself and he like lights that match and Emma just like catches it. Giga Chad Emma.
Dude, in the sub,
Impeccable move.
in the Japanese version, when she catches it, she just looks up and goes, "Nice catch." It's like, oh, nice.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
I think in the
But
dub
have
she was
we-
like, "That's awesome, huh?" And I'm like, "Yes,
Have
it
we
was."
talked about the opening though? We did. It was,
Yeah.
it was rhetorical, but it was good.
We're gonna get copyright claimed. Oh yeah, apparently they only played the full opening once, and then there was like a half opening each time, at least in the dub. It was like a
I
short
honestly
version.
didn't notice.
Because I
Yeah.
watched it earlier today, so like straight up, I just like looked it up on YouTube, and I was like, oh wait, no, this is way longer than what all the other episodes had. Like it's a good opening, where I would say, yeah, kind of fire, but like it's not. I'm not gonna put it in my playlist, you know.
You said that in such a weirdly suspicious way that I feel like you are going to put it in your playlist.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah,
Does it sound
well,
suspicious?
in any case, if you want to put any of the songs in your playlist, the OST is on Spotify because I do have Ray's Retaliation in my playlist. Which it's kind of funny because it's like one of the only anime OSTs just on Spotify.
I really liked the part sort of towards the beginning when they were trying to figure out who was like feeding information to the mother, right? Because it really reminded me of the hit game Among Us. If you guys have ever played that, it's
Oh my
about
God.
a bunch of spacemen have to figure out
Save
who
it for
the
the Among Us
imposter
podcast.
is. We're never reviewing Among Us. I refuse to review Among Us.
You
That'd be
know,
really funny.
Don's kind of acting a little sussy. I don't know. He could be the imposter, you know? Could be the spy.
He's such an idiot. Like, there's a secret door behind this bookshelf, and he starts punching it. It's like, what?
Look,
Well, that's what sus people do.
He was trying his best, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
trying my best at all times, but like, you don't see people defending me.
You also don't see Luke beating the crap out of bookshelves.
Well, you don't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not happening.
That's right. I hate bookshelves. Dude, there's something
I
about
hate
them.
bookshelves in Minecraft because you don't get the bookshelf back when you break it.
Oh, yeah. Also, I remember Emma had, like, this one moment that was just so cold, bro. It was when Norman was like, hey, Emma, what would you do if there was a mole? Like, would you take him with us, or would you leave him here? And she's like, I would take them with us, because then they wouldn't have guaranteed survival. And I'm like, what?
I forgot about that.
I think she means that if they escaped, then the mole would probably die. They wouldn't be guaranteed survival if they were left behind.
Oh, I thought because Norman's like, okay, if there was a mole that was giving information away for guaranteed survival, would you take it? And I interpret it as like, yeah, we'll take them with us, because then there's a chance they could die if we take them with us. And I'm like, yo, I'm gonna pretend that's
because what she was saying is if they all escaped, then there'd be no reason to have a mole, so they'd probably just kill them.
Here's a quick aside. I'm kind of just looking at Google Images of the Promised Neverland right now, and found this found a promotional image of a figure of Sister Krona. And for all of our audio listeners, I would just like to describe this figure of Sister Krona to you. This promotional image.
We don't have a video.
A back, like the back of a manga, just the top corner of it, with this figure climbing over the page with a horrifyingly large smile. What looks like 3 sets of eyebrows. It looks like it's climbing out of the book to strangle you. And I hate it. I do not like this image.
Well, I'm
one
safe
bit.
because she's trapped behind the sample watermark. Can't get through that.
That's true. She also has
Nothing has ever
little
escaped
tiny
it.
shoes on. She's got little shoes.
So?
They're small.
So yeah,
What-
the mother outfits, not that drip, I have to say.
Please,
I don't know.
Kevin,
Like
we
you
don't have to
saw.
describe everything as drip or not drip.
What about the Why does Norman get like a cool sweater vest and everybody else
Yeah.
has these like button ups? Like
I
Norman-
wasn't too big of a
Dude,
fan
he's
of
got
sweater.
the white on white on white.
they're like all wearing hospital gowns. How did they not
Yeah.
realize they were food sooner? They're all wearing like hospital outfits.
They don't really look like hospital outfits. They just look like white normal outfits.
Sucks if you like spill food or something.
They had a whole bunch of extra
Good thing-
outfits in like the hidden room between the
Good
bookshelves.
thing we never ever see for all the times they play tag, we never see anyone get dirty.
That's true. I didn't even think of that.
Well, there's like some
Unrealistic.
scuff on Emma's clothes when she got her leg completely snapped by the mother.
Is it-
I
Isabella?
forgot. That scene is like I don't know. Like watching that scene the first time was like really intense. But like afterward knowing what's gonna happen, it's kind of unintentionally hilarious. Like Isabella's walking up to Emma, it's like, I'm so sorry. And Emma's like, what are you talking about? Run, Norman, run. Just snap.
That's
Just,
not
like,
what
snap,
happened.
Crackle, pop, the
Emma
leg.
tried to like tackle her, and then she just like caught her and said, "Hey, thanks for the hug," and then snapped her leg.
It's I don't know. It's pretty good.
But you know, as we were saying, the mother really cares about all of them. She loves them all very much, and is just a great mother.
Yeah, that's why she didn't.
Hey,
damage-
don't hurt the merchandise.
That's why she didn't damage the merchandise. She just broke the leg. You know, that'd be healed. They don't eat the leg.
Sweep the leg.
If they're only eating the brain, then what does it matter to begin with? Why would it have to heal anyway?
I don't think they're just eating the brain. I think it's the whole premio package.
But don't they?
They
need,
put their whole
don't they
body
need
in
the
like
brain?
a jar. Yeah, I think the whole thing is nice, but the brain is like the brain's like the sustenance, right? They need that for intelligence, but the whole ensemble is like that's where the taste comes from.
Yeah, that's the palate. You know.
It's
That's
like
why
the
they have to
cherry
wear
on
like
top.
dripping outfits because that
When they're-
actually adds to the taste.
When the demon like people reviewers come along, they say Emma's got a fine bouquet, a little bit of 1927 rouge, bit of spring flower. You know.
The League of Demons is what I'm gonna call them. They're just all just sitting around a table. Like, what is up with that?
They're actually the royal.
Sitting around a
family.
table? What's up with that?
Yeah. Demons
Well,
don't
they
sit at
ate
tables,
humans,
what
and
the heck?
humans sit around tables, so they gained that. They started doing that.
There's actually it's kind of cool. I'm gonna get a little bit into season 2. I'm not gonna do any spoilers, but it's kind of cool. Like, read the manga. Don't watch season 2, by the way. Read the manga. Season 2 is very condensed, but we get to see a lot more of the civilization at hand that kind of is running things in the demon world behind the scenes, and it's very complicated, very well thought out. I like it a lot. It almost kind of like humanizes these creatures that are doing these almost horrible things because
Almost
we
horrible
see-
things.
they're pretty horrible, but we see that the common folk don't really have a choice over it, and it's all of the higher ups and wealthy among the demons that are kind of controlling things, sort of like a society that I've heard about before. Can't put my finger on which one though.
Too many societies to choose from.
Yeah,
Any society.
we live in a society.
Like, to me, that kind of
Wish we
stuff's
didn't.
dumb. Like, I don't want to learn about the demons.
Say what you want about the demons, but they do be living in a society.
Sucks for them.
I hope there's a time skip.
I hate that you said that
Why?
because there is a time skip.
In
And it
the
sucks.
manga?
Do they go like 20 years in the future or something?
No, it's probably
No,
like
in
2.
both. So, okay, Kevin got it right on. So in the show they go 2 years in the future. In the manga they go 6 months. The show goes 2 years in the future because they skip half of the manga, which is awful. And then there's a time skip in the manga that's also kind of bad because they're like, they just kind of time skip, and it's like, well, we didn't want to see what was going on during that time.
I just want to see like an older, more like capable group.
They only really get taller. They kind of like stay mostly the same. They are kids.
That sucks. That's so. Ugh. I wanted them to be like more badass.
I might have like, I don't know, because it's a gradual enough change in the manga that I didn't really notice it. It's possible that there is like a really noted change that you can see. But in the second season, you can really see it because it's only like 3 episodes after we see them in the Gracefield house, and then all of a sudden it's like 2,400 and flying cars are everywhere, and they're like, where's Phil? Like
I wish they got shorter instead of taller.
Oh, I really like how they told Phil.
Expectations.
I really like how they told Phil everything that was going on, so he could be like the next one to like help everyone escape.
Phil is mini Emma. He's literally like, he's
but
almost
also,
the same character.
The mother knows that Phil knows.
Yes, but she can't do anything about it.
Is she gonna still be awful?
What do you mean, be awful?
Like, she's still like, I know she cares more about her survival than everything else, so she's still probably gonna ship people out. But is she still gonna be like conniving evil?
Can't. So the entire plan is made so that they can't, because they can't ship anyone out before they turn 6. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So Gracefield House is basically on lock for 2 years, which is why they do what they do. They leave the 4-year-olds behind.
But I mean, is the mother like more chill?
I mean,
it's very have to watch season 2.
Yeah, because she took her a hair out of a bun and like she smiled like genuinely, and she's like, "Nice job escaping."
Extremely heavily implied that because half of the children of Gracefield House and all of the eligible for shipping children escaped, Isabella would not be making it very long.
I thought she
was sucks for her, I guess.
I'm not going to say what happens. She was standing at the edge of the wall,
and I thought she was going off.
I will not say what happens, but it is certainly implied that Isabella does not make it very far after the children escape.
Yeah, I honestly thought she was jumping off the wall.
Same. But I guess that would have been kind of a jerk move when all of the young kids were still just hanging out in the field.
Because she took a rope, she grabbed the rope and like pulled it back, and I thought she was gonna like tie something, and then I thought she was gonna go off, and I'm like, wait a minute, and then no, that didn't happen at all.
No, yeah, she's just cleaning up after her kids, pulling the stuff down, like, oh, you
yeah, I guess
made a mess.
What a good the evidence of which direction they went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, are we about to any closing thoughts? Would you recommend it to a friend?
Absolutely.
I gave it 8 on my list.
Nice. That's a pretty good score.
I would give it a 9.5.
I think I would recommend it.
In a vacuum, I'd give it a 10, but I know things, so I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Alright.
Because when I was getting into the show, I was talking to some other friends, and they were like, I was asking like, "Hey, is season 1 like a comprehensive story? Like, could you just watch season 1 and stop?" And they're like, "Absolutely not. There's a sequel, and it's essential." But then I talked to other people at work, and they're like, "No, yeah, it's pretty. Like, you can stop there." And after watching it, it's like, yeah, you could probably just watch season 1 and then just stop.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this could have been its own thing of just like, what happens after? It's left ambiguous.
Yeah, you could easily do the left ambiguous thing. They really do kind of wrap it up nicely. I think I did say that the ending of season 1 wraps up nicely, so we don't really have to watch season 2. But I mean, knowing what I know, the rest of the story is pretty good if you read the manga, but not if you watch the second season. So.
Oh yeah, to be honest, I was expecting a lot more death. We only see like 2 or 3.
Yeah, the first episode really set it up of like, wow, they killed off like a small child too. I bet everybody's gonna be dying.
No, I thought it was gonna be like one by one, like half of them were gonna be gone by like the end.
Well, and that's why I'm sure when Luke, you said you watched the first episode. Like when Luke watched the first episode, he put in the chat,
Don't
It's
quote me
really
exactly.
Yeah, it's really good so far, but my god, this anime, I think I'm gonna hate it. Is basically what he said. And I really wanted to respond with just like, don't worry, it gets better, but I didn't want to spoil anything. And I'm
I
glad I
kind of
didn't.
hoped there was more death, to be honest.
It-
They all
it
Norman's
could've
like
used a
supposed
couple.
death. It took like half an episode, and they really like dragged that on.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
you had like 6 goodbyes, and I'm like, oh my god, just get out of here already.
it definitely felt like there weren't really any stakes until Norman gets shipped out. So like the first half of the anime, it really feels like they're really not playing for many stakes. Like the stakes are implied because obviously if they don't succeed, all of these children will slowly die. But it doesn't seem like we really get to see that until Norman kind of goes away. So I kind of agree
Well,
with
I mean,
that. but
he's still like haunting everyone.
his ghost, his aura
Yeah,
is
his,
there.
like
So.
he doesn't even look like a ghost. He's just like solid there, and people are talking to him, and then like the shot changes, and he's just not there, and it's like, why are you guys talking to nobody?
Okay, we said
Yeah.
we were wrapping up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Yeah,
I've been thinking recently, right? What's a good movie? Star Wars Episode 4. That was a decent one, right? What if we
That's my
watched
favorite
that but without any visuals? What do you think that would be like?
Probably not very interesting.
Well, dumb you, because that's what we're reviewing. It's the Star Wars audio drama. That's for next week.
darn.
Barnyard, marketed as Barnyard, the original party animal.
We're not watching Barnyard. I'm
Nope.
sorry.
Sad.
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited about that Star Wars audio drama because like
It's like 10 million hours long.
Can we watch
it's
iCarly
literally
instead?
not. It's like 6 hours.
Yeah,
That's
but can we watch
less than
iCarly?
the anime. Actually, I don't know. Maybe not.
I want to watch iCarly. I'm gonna watch iCarly instead, and then I'll go on the next episode and review iCarly.
I mean,
You
my
won't.
party was victorious. Should have voted for it.
What? No, because then we wouldn't have gotten the Promised Neverland, which I wanted.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna let you just review iCarly on here though, while the rest of us are reviewing something else, because I feel like you would do that, and I feel like I would be really annoyed by it.
Best friends Carly and Sam make a webisode video cast.
Everybody knows iCarly. You don't have to explain iCarly.
Yeah, but do they know the intricate political inner workings of the mind of Gibby, whatever his name is, whatever his last name is?
Gibby Gobby.
It's definitely not that.
He
I
calls
was
it
gonna
Gibby.
say, though,
Gibby
this is
Gibby.
pretty relevant to the whole iCarly thing, but if anybody wants to give us suggestions, feel free to email us at acubicinchofsound@gmail.com. I lied about the iCarly part.
I thought you were going to say iCarly.com.
Yeah, email us at iCarly.com. We're iCarly.
We're actually here to announce that we're interviewing Miranda Cosgrove
Nope,
next
that's
episode.
not
I
happening.
wish, dude.
Oh yeah, from the hit movie Despicable Me, like 2 or 3,
Yeah.
one of them, Minions. I don't know.
She was in all of them.
Gross. I will catch you. And then he misses.
Miranda Cosgrove was one of the girls that Gru adopts.
Yeah,
She was
the
in all
tall
of them.
one.
Yeah.
Man, I forgot that there were 3. I forgot the blonde one existed.